Oh, now he's gonna go after that. Or do you want to go on the ground? You tell me what you want. Today, I wanted to talk about composting. I've gotten a lot of questions from Instagram and just friends and family who are wondering how I compost because I live in an apartment. I don't have a backyard, I don't have like a porch or anything. It's just like a 2-bedroom. And I'm gonna talk about how I do that. So just because I'm in an apartment doesn't mean I can't compost. It just means I don't have my own personal compost. So I use community composts. There's a truck. I also live on a busy street, so if you hear noises, that's why. But yeah, just because I'm in an apartment, don't have a backyard, doesn't mean that I can't save my food scraps and compost things that are compostable. So just kind of an intro, composting is the #1 thing you can do to reduce your environmental impact. So your food waste, instead of going to landfill where it would create a bunch of methane that is a greenhouse gas, you take those scraps out of your trash and you use them to make nutrient-rich soil for gardening and other things. So it also has like really good benefits. What I love about composting is that me and my roommate don't have to take the trash out nearly as much. We don't create that much trash in general, but when we do, like before we were composting, we had to take the trash out because the trash would stink. Like we wouldn't fill up the garbage and we'd be like, okay, this needs to go out because there's nasty food in there. So once we started composting, it eliminated the smells that come from a garbage can, and the only thing that was in the trash were unrecyclable waste, like little bits of plastic and packaging, like nothing that's gross, like molding. Gizmo's distracting me, I'm sorry. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why I really enjoy it for my personal life. And composting in your apartment is not hard at all, and it's completely stink free. A lot of people are afraid that composting means like ew, nasty, like decomposition and worms and things like that. But when you're doing it the way we do it, you don't have any of that. You don't even have to worry about it. What you'll need to compost in an apartment or a small space, if you don't have access to like a backyard or anything, is just a container and a freezer. And also you need access to a community compost. I put a bowl, or I'll show you other things. The easiest is to just get like a bowl and put it in your freezer and then just fill that throughout the week with your food scraps. It's important to know what can and can't go into the compost. So definitely do your research beforehand, because you can't put like cooked food, you can't put meat in there if you're doing that. But anything, basically the rule is if it grows, it goes. And let me just talk about how you do it, and then I'll go into like the specifics and the fun stuff. This is currently what I use. This is currently what we use to compost. It comes like this. My mom gave this to me because she wanted to start composting, and so she bought these off of Grove, and she got, I think it was like a 7-pack. It was like this high. It says that it's a kitchen counter compost, but I don't know how they are marketing it as that, because I think that would stink after a while. But I put it in my freezer and I just like slid it in, it fit perfectly, and I would pull it out, put like my whatever food scraps in there, like the ends of carrots if I'm cooking, like skins, fruit peels, that all goes in here. And then at the end of, whenever it's full, whenever this fills up, I would take it out, let it thaw for about like 20 minutes, and then come through and take a mason jar and kind of squish everything down, because when it's frozen, it's like, it holds its shape when you put it in there. So if you let it thaw and push things down, then you can like, literally like it'll be up to here full, and I'll crush it down and it'll go like to here, and then you have another 2 weeks. Because it's just me and my roommate, and if we're not cooking all that much, this could go like a month before it's full. And so because it's in the freezer, it doesn't ever rot or decompose. It kind of just stays the way it is. So no smells, not gross at all. You could put a lid on it if you wanted to. And then this entire thing is compostable. If I can find this, I'll link it below. Otherwise, you can just use a more sustainable option. Instead of buying this, Gizmo's trying to snuggle with my foot right now. Obviously, the more sustainable option would be to just use a reusable bowl instead of this, because obviously this takes energy to create and ship to you, and then also it's just going right into the compost. So it's kind of the same mentality as like garbage bags. Kind of stupid. But anyways, I was using them because I had them. But now that I'm not using this, I also have these biodegradable bags that I'm not sure, I'm gonna try it out, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna like love it or hate it or just think it's stupid. But I'm gonna put this as a lining in a bowl and then put a bowl into the freezer. Maybe that'll be, I think it might be easier for like cleanup because I go through a lot of coffee grounds, and that like frozen stuck to a bowl could be harder to transport to like from here to the compost, and like leaking and stuff and melting, especially in the summer months. Maybe this will be a better option. Okay, so this is how I hold my compost when it's in my apartment in the freezer. And then once whatever it is that's holding it is full, I will take it out. Usually I put it into a paper bag, or I'll wrap it in newspaper just in case it, like, especially with the hotter months coming, it like in my car might start to melt. I have to drive to the compost drop off because it's a little far. Yeah. And so when I'm going there, if I like running errands, I don't want it to start melting in my car and get all over my car because that'd be gross. So yeah, I'll wrap my compost into a paper bag. I also, come here, bud. I also compost Gizmo's newspaper that I line his cage with, and his food scraps. Like, he just eats seeds and stuff, and that's all compost friendly. So a lot of his waste is low waste. So if you want a video on that, like this video and we'll get to you with that. Yeah. Community compost, my friend actually told me about where she dropped her compost off, and that's how I found out about this one. But I know you can drop off compost at Mom's Organic. There is one down the road from me. It is a little bit closer than the compost drop off I do go to, but because I drop off like a whole thing of this, it's like 2 gallons of compost, I like to do it with the community compost because it's just, I don't feel as bad as like if I walked into Mom's Organic with this full. I feel like it would be a little bit weird. But if you are by yourself, living by yourself, and you just have like a little bag full, that is such a great option. Gizmo, what are you yelling about? He just doesn't want to be with me right now. I'm gonna look online. I'm not sure if they have these, but I mean they must. But I'm gonna look online to see if there's any like forums or blogs or applications where you can find places to drop off compost, and I'll link that below if I find it. If not, then just dig a little deeper. I'm sure you can find on Facebook groups in your area with community compost or community gardens and things like that, where they're more than happy to take your food scraps because that means they'll have nutrient-rich soil. Another thing, when just talking about reducing your waste, there's so many things I didn't realize were compostable until I did my research. So definitely like look up a chart. There's so many infographics out there. There's so many videos about this. I just wanted to put my 2 cents out there about how I do it. But definitely do your research before you start composting. But things that I put into the compost are dryer lint. If you have natural fiber clothes like cotton and things like that, you can compost those because they're biodegradable natural fibers. Also hair from the shower and from your hairbrush, nail clippings, like basically if it grows, it's so gross, if it grows, it goes. I already said Gizmo's seeds and his paper, his newspaper lining his cage, my old bamboo toothbrush when I'm done with that. I actually have never gone through one of those yet. They have a really long lifespan, personally. I guess I just don't brush my teeth that hard. But when my bamboo toothbrush or hairbrush or like any of my wood bamboo products finally meet their end, they can go into the compost as well. And coffee grounds, if you're not using them for something else like a DIY or like a body scrub, those go into the compost too. Those are also very, very good for your plants. If you want to sprinkle them around here, I'm pretty sure that's good for them. With all the plants I have in my apartment, when they're little like baby leaves at the bottom die, I always toss those into the compost. Hair that I just fall out. Oh, also another weird thing that you can compost is your vacuum cleaner dust. So that's cool. I mean, just make sure there's no like plastic bits up in there. This one time we had confetti on the floor from like coming back from the bar, so like I dumped it into the compost and I was like, oh my god, and I had to sort through it, which is kind of really gross to get all the plastic bits out. But if you don't have that issue of, you know, confetti in your apartment, then you don't have to worry about that. I will link some informative videos below about composting and about food waste and how to be conscious about that and not buying more food than you know you're gonna have, because obviously, yes, composting is a really great solution to reducing your impact, but also furthering that, don't buy food that you know you're not going to eat, and that's just going to end up going into compost anyways, because there's energy in all aspects of creating food. So just be conscious of what you do, what you accumulate, and what you waste. So that's kind of all I needed to say. If you have any more questions and you want a more in-depth video about the science behind it, or like more information, I would love to do that and like sit down and really make an extensive video on composting and why everybody should be composting. Yeah, if you have any questions, please leave them below. Thank you for watching. I really enjoy making these videos, and it makes me so happy to see that you guys are enjoying watching them. So if you have any ideas of videos you want in the future, let me know. I'm gonna get some gizmo videos up here soon. Check out my Instagram. I'm gonna do some question and answers there. Well, I'm gonna accumulate some questions there and then answer them on here. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you haven't, and like this video if you liked it. Okay, Gizmo, say goodbye. Say goodbye. Maybe one day we'll be able to get him to do that. Okay, bye guys.